Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining RK today. We are live on a Saturday, June 11th. And as you may have already seen from my virtual flyers, we're talking about retreats today. I have an awesome and amazing guest, and she's with Reformulate Retreats. I am so very excited to be able to share this conversation with you. I'm hoping that you guys are having an amazing day today and that it continues to go great. So, without further ado, I'm going to bring her in to the conversation because we are going to, let me grab my notebook. We're going to be talking about vacations, guys. It's always one thing, huh? Need my notebook for my questions. I felt like Dr. Evil on Austin Powers. I love Austin Powers. I need the info. All right, let me see here. Hello, how are you? I was actually just about to dial you in. Oh, goodness. It says I can't invite you. Hi, Coach Play. That's my husband, spelled with an I and not a Y. Contact him for any of your nutrition and any of your fitness needs. Give him a call, or actually give him a DM, and he'll be able to help you with that. Actually, Reformulate Retreats, I am not able to invite you. By chance, are you on a tablet? Because we had this happen last week. Hi, Alexis. We had this happen actually last week where I was not able to invite my guest in, and so she had to log in on her phone instead. So I'm thinking that's probably what's going on right now, because as I go to invite, that is not available for me. So if you could, you may have to, looks like Gloria's over here listening like, huh, what's going on? You're on a laptop. I think that we have to do it through the phone, because that's what happened last week. She had joined with the tablet. The tablet would not allow us to connect, and so then she did it through her phone, and we were able to connect. I tell you, the more that we have technology is so awesome, so great. I'm not going to get, on my bitter woman, old traditional riot, but I'm telling you, the more that we have technology, there are some things that's just huge glitches that you think are very, very simple and minor, but unfortunately it's not. So let's try it again. We're going to try it again. So today we're talking about retreats because, as you guys know, it's the summertime and people are doing what? They're going out for vacation. They're going out for retreats. And we usually do these things as adults because we want to just get away from everything. And then sometimes we spend those vacations still kind of stressed out. Hey! Okay, so she's able to request and I am accepting. We're going to go to have.
Can you hear me? Oh dear.
on speaker, so there we go. I can hear you great. I don't want an echo later on.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I was on my laptop, so maybe that was the problem.
It had, like I said, last week I was talking to my guest and we were trying to connect, and she had her phone on, or she had connected through her tablet and it wouldn't let her come through. So we figured maybe when it's not a phone device, it just doesn't work.
That's good to know for future reference.
I know, right? It's like, thank you, Instagram. So now with this happening the second time, I'm pretty sure that we can only do a live through our phones. So there goes a disclaimer. Use your phone for lives. There you go. How's your Saturday?
My Saturday's going great. I just came back from like a big brunch, so I'm doing good. I love a brunch.
I do too. I'm gonna tell you. Now, I used to do brunches with my mom when I was growing up, and it was always, as a kid, it's like, oh wow, this is so different. Just the word itself. You got breakfast and lunch. It's like a fun adventure. And my mother-in-law, like when she comes over, a lot of times she'll be like, oh, I just got done having a brunch, and so my kids are like, what's a brunch? We want a brunch. They've had it before, but it's always a fun thing. It really, really is. Which brings us into your playcation, because playcation is all about fun. How in the world did you come up with this concept of the playcation?
Actually, it was kind of a happy accident. I was looking for.
Oh, I love happy accidents. Bob Ross.
I was looking for or like the old school game where you put like marbles in this like wooden thing. It's called like Mancala, and I didn't remember what it was
Yes.
called, and I put in like mandala, and I ended up with coloring book. And I was like, oh, these are cool. So I bought a coloring book. And then,
Okay.
you know, Amazon knows everything. So then they're like, oh, you like coloring books? Here's some more. Here's some more. Oh, these are Black owned. And so I just got into coloring. And I was like, why did I stop doing this? And then I was like, I like puzzles. I got into puzzles. Oh, bubbles. Oh my gosh. And it just kind of organically happened that I realized that like nurturing my inner child was like making me happy. And so I
Yes.
was coming at it like looking for joy, you know, and like my anxiety was high and I found it kind of like calming and meditative, soothing. And so let's say last year I was looking for a retreat, like I wanted to go somewhere and I didn't want to have to go through the girl trip. We should go somewhere. Who's paying? Who's planning? And I was like, I'm gonna just find some people who are going someplace and tag along. And I could not find a retreat with like Black women or like bigger women. It was all like these very athletic looking people who were like going to do yoga and hike and zip line. And I was like, that's not a vacation to me. And I was like, I just want to go like color on the beach and build sandcastles. So my friends got to hear me talk about it. I was like, why don't you just plan it? And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna plan it. And then it just so happened that I follow Om Noir on Instagram, and she had like a class in retreat leadership, and I took it and we kind of partnered up. And so Om Noir and I are planning this PLAY-CATION retreat. And it, you know, it came from a place of like reconnecting with your inner child, reparenting your inner child, and like nurturing yourself. And for me, I'm in the season of discovering like I don't have to fit into a box. And so like I can be whoever I want to be. And so I don't say I'm rebelling, but I'm getting out of all the boxes. And I like fun things. I like silly things. I like colorful things. And like, just because you like get older doesn't mean you have to grow up. And why be serious when you can be silly? And so I kind of discovered there's actually a thing called play therapy where people do this as a job, which I didn't know was a thing. And it just kind of just really spoke to me. And I'm like, yes, play. Let us go play together. And, you know, the last 2 years have been so hard. And you see all these people on TikTok, like, being an adult is hard. Like, adulthood is the most ghetto neighborhood. And I just need a break. I just need a break. And I was like, let's take a break from being an adult and let's just go have some like childlike wonder and appreciate the beauty of the world and have fun and, you know, chase bubbles and have a dance party karaoke and play games or whatever. And so that's kind of how it came about. And luckily, Christina from Om Noir was like, that sounds like a great idea. And so we just I started doing some research and planned it. And so I found this really nice resort in Grenada, and they have villas so we can have like our own space. Cause I kind of see my purpose as just creating a safe space, for people to like be able to relax without judgment, you know, and just like lay your burdens down, come with me, have some fun. And so I just really fell in love with the resort. And so we booked it, and now we're, you know, out here selling this retreat.
There you go. There you go. And see, and for anybody who's like, well, how did you guys connect? Honestly, it was so divine. You sent me a message and was like, I found your, you know, you came upon my book and had read it and just wanted to, you know, like reach out to me and see if I would be interested, which was such a huge offer. And I'm still like blushing from it, but see if I would be interested in coming in order to speak at your workshop and also stay at the Villa in Granada. And I was like, wow, like my mind was totally blown. And I thank you for that. My mind was just totally blown, first off, that my book had an impact with you. And I was like, wow, that is so just awesome. I'm really, really thankful for that. And just glad that you did connect with me. And I was further appreciative that you would offer me to come to Granada in order to speak. And so we said we're still going to stay connected, because I'm not really able to do that right now as far as, you know, chaperoneship, because we do have our 10 lovely babies. And so I want to make sure that, you know, we can make sure that they're good. But I appreciate you so much for that offer.
Oh, no, I appreciate you. And when you're looking for anything, it's so hard to find a Black woman to do something. And, you know, we buy in Black, we support small businesses. And so I make a conscious effort to look for other Black women when I'm spending my money. And it's so hard to find sometimes. And so when I just happened to come upon your book on Instagram, I was like, it's a Black lady. And I was like,
exactly. And then when we talk about, you know, adults playing, that's like a whole nother level too. So just as far as like a cultural aspect, for us as a people, we're really ingrained to work. Mm-hmm. And it's not really so much about play. I mean, I'll even admit, like with my own kids, I'm like, you know, you need to be more responsible. And so for the most part, culturally, I'm not going to stereotype, because it's not everywhere. But for the most part, we're ingrained to be responsible and to not always play. And so you don't really hear of a lot of us talking about play therapy, and much less adult play therapy. Is like, you know, what I heard a whole lot, and I still get it somewhat, is you need to grow up. I remember, like, right after my husband and I got married, I had a dear loved one, like, we'd only been married for a week, and we were just rolling in the hay enjoying marriage, you know? And it was like, you need to grow up. You need to stop playing house. And it really did hurt, especially from the person it came from, because we just got married and we wanted to enjoy it. And now I'm at a point where it's like, there's nothing wrong with playing house. There's nothing wrong with still enjoying yourself and having that fun, because I believe a lot of, you know, marriages disintegrate no matter what race they are, because they lose out on that fun aspect and that play aspect. And so we have to remember, especially, you know, people of color who have been ingrained to work and be responsible and stop playing. Like you said, get out of the box, enjoy yourself. So when you connected with me, I was like, this is so awesome that you're having something like this, because we need more of it. Do you see yourself going in other countries or doing something in the US?
I do. I have friends who are like, I would love to come, but I don't have a passport. And so I'm like, I want to do something in the US, but it might have to be like the US Virgin Islands, because I have this feeling whenever I leave the country that is like a lightness, like a freedom. Like, my anxiety is so much less. And like the first time I traveled abroad, I was like, this is different. And it's just like, you don't realize this weight that's on your chest until you get it lifted off. And so whenever I leave the country, I just feel better. And like, I want other people to have that experience, because you don't know until you know. And like, there's a lot of people who don't have a passport who never leave the country. But I'm like, you have to get out so you can see how other people live and how they are not this stressed out. This like work, hustle, grind. Like, you are not meant to work and pay bills and die. And that's what they have us doing. And now that we have all this technology, we can work from home, you can work from your car, you can work on vacation. Oh, y'all know you're on vacation, but send me this email real quick. Oh, they got a fax machine at the hotel. We're not doing that. And like, that's not what we're meant to do. And I'm a lawyer. I hate my job. I have been so unhappy. And I really credit like the Nat ministry, is that it, on Instagram, who's like, your ancestors' wildest dream is that you could relax if you wanted to. Like, we don't have to be out here achieving and pushing and grinding and working. Like, you can enjoy your life. You can have fun.
Yeah.
And then they want us to wait till we like turn 70 to retire.
That's what I was about to say before you.
And then you're like, well, my arthritis and my sugar and my gout, and I can't go nowhere and do nothing. I'm supposed to be out here in Jamaica on a walker? That don't sound like a good plan. So I'm just like, I want to enjoy my life while I can. And exactly. You know, I'm gonna be in debt for the rest of my life. I got all kinds of student loans. So I'm just gonna enjoy the ride until they cut off the credit.
I fully agree with you though. And that's what we said with our kids, as far as, you know, when we go to these places, we don't want to just be daddy and mommy or just, you know, just one of us. We want to take our kids with us. And that's why I said, you know, right now with the chaperone situation, you know, I'd have to wait. But we want to be able to have our kids experience that and experience it early. So it's already ingrained in them that there's other places outside of the state that they live in and outside of our country, outside of this continent. and be able to really become more affluential in other places.
Yeah, and like with social media, you can have friends in other countries that you want to go meet.
Yeah.
And
You
you
can.
start to, it opens your perspective, your mindset. You see like all these different people in the world going about their lives in different ways. And like there's no right or wrong, it's just different. And like
Yeah.
what works here might not be what works for you. And I feel like what's happening here don't work for me no more. And I'm trying to get out and just take a deep breath for the first time in like 3 years. And I just, want to share that with people because, life is hard. Being an adult is hard. These bills just keep coming every month. Like rent work. Didn't I pay you last month? Like we still doing this? It's so much. And I'm just like, I need a break. And I'm guessing there's some other people out there who also need a break. And it's about being immature or not, being responsible or anything like that. But it's also about we don't have to work until we die. And
that's true.
Like you don't have to be constantly producing to have like worth as a human being. Like you are a person with like needs and desires, and it's okay to want to take a break and not be like, oh, I gotta make this money. Like who wants to live like that? I don't. So I don't know. I mean, yeah, I do think that as a people, we are definitely ingrained with you got to work twice as hard to get half as far. And I've been living by that mentality. I did all of the things. I had all the straight A's. I went to all the colleges. I have all the degrees. And it wasn't making me happy. And at the end of the day, when I look back on my life, I'm going to look back on the experiences that I enjoyed and the people that I met. And my degree don't mean nothing. And so like accomplishments don't fulfill you. Like people and experiences fulfill you. And so I just decided to do things different and to.
What's an experience that you've had in adult play therapy that you would like to share with us? As far as like being out of the country, what is it that you've done maybe at a previous retreat that sticks out to you?
I love sandcastles. Where were we? Jamaica? Might have been in Mexico. I try to go somewhere new every year. They start to blend.
Okay.
But like my mom and I were in Mexico and we were, on the beach and they had all these toys for the kids. And I was like, I want to build a sandcastle. So I went over there with the kids and started building a sandcastle. And like mine was better than theirs. And my mom is like, why are you playing with those children? I was like, because I'm on vacation and it's fun. And like when you don't take yourself so seriously and you're not so concerned about appearances and like what other people think and like how you look and they're gonna think I'm immature or whatever. So I'm having fun. I'm on vacation. I'm building a sandcastle with this little girl from Holland who's never seen a black person before, and we're having the best day ever. Like, like just when you let yourself go and just have fun, that's when you are connecting with your inner child. And like, for me, I imagine it as the part of you that, like the little flame inside yourself that you nurture, that, society is trying to put out. They're trying to put you in a box, tell you what you gotta do, who you gotta be, how you gotta wear your hair. You see the hair's pink. I'm having a rebellious phase. But like it's like the little flame that you nurture inside yourself, and that's your inner child. That experiences like joy and wonder and just like happiness. And you gotta nurture that. You gotta hold that flame and keep it safe. And then sometimes when it's safe, you let her out to play. And she's like, oh, Jesus, I need to stretch. And you have a great day. Sometimes you just gotta let her out. Let her have fun and let her out have fun. Just gotta let her play.
I agree.
But yeah, and have you seen the black men frolicking trend on TikTok and Instagram?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's the most amazing thing. All of these grown, big old adult black men running through fields of wildflowers with their cameras like, we frolicking, y'all. We frolicking. We out here frolicking. You ain't telling me we gonna frolic? And it's just And then like dudes are like, I'm wearing a pink shirt and I'm frolicking in the flowers. And like they're having this renaissance of like letting go of this toxic masculinity. And like I don't have to be this hardcore dude all the time. Like you can go run through the flowers. It's okay.
Do you feel that certain social media sites like TikTok has really opened people up to want to nurture their inner child more?
I do, because you know, a lot before social media, it was just the people you knew, people you went to church with, your family. So you kind of tend to be in a bubble and everybody thinks the same way and behaves the same way. And you don't want to be like weird cousin Carl who likes to play with bubbles, you know? And so there's like a certain amount of structure. But on social media, it was like one dude who was like, have y'all heard of frolicking? And he went to frolic. And then another dude was like, oh my God, we frolicking? And it just became this movement of Black men frolicking. But because now we can see other people who are like us from other areas who maybe aren't stuck in that same box or bubble or, you know, strictness of your community, you start to be like, oh, they can do it. I can do it too. You know, when they say like representation matters, it does. Because when you see somebody who looks like you doing something you always wanted to do, and you were like, Black people don't do that. And you're like, oh, shit, I can do whatever I want. Why didn't nobody tell me I could do whatever I want? And then you have the realization, and then you're like, holy shit, I could do whatever I want. And then you find this like space of freedom to like do whatever you want. And if you want to go frolic in the flowers, go do that, sir. You have you a great day. Like everybody loves it. Black boy joy, all time high, you know. But go, it's amazing. It's so cute. They're all like in their 30s and 40s with gray beards and like dreadlocks, and they're just running through the fields, and they're so happy. And you can.
I'm gonna have to check it out. I am. I'm gonna have to check it out. One of the things that I enjoy from what you're telling me, and like I said, I'm gonna check it out. One of the things I enjoy about adult play therapy is that even if it's something you've never done before, it gives you the freedom to try it. So like when someone's saying, you know, I'm gonna try out this frolicking, maybe it was something we're thinking about, but maybe they were like, let me just try it. Let me just do it for fun and see what happens. So I love the factor being that when you connect with that inner child, you're saying, let me try it, let me experiment. And that's really the wondrous thing about childhood, is that you're open to trying just anything, you know, within boundaries. If you're thinking about safety, you know, sometimes children don't think about safety. So you do want to think about safety, you know, you want to put that adulthood on, but, you know, within the limit of safety and making sure you're not hurting anybody, it's fun to be able to just try different things. You know, I'm going to paint today. I'm going to go ahead and I read what you said about doing tutus. My girls, they do tutus. So I'm going to go ahead and do some tutus. I'm going to go ahead and write this poem. You're just allowing yourself to try different things. And then you're like, this is what feels good to me. I'm going to stick with it for a little while.
And like,
so I really do enjoy that.
That's the best thing about childhood. You will do anything in the pursuit of fun. That is your main goal. And that's what play is. It's an activity with no purpose other than fun. And so you might play with a stick or catch a bug or rip a leaf in half or whatever stupid thing you're doing because it brings you joy for a moment. And like we let that go as adults. And I just don't think we should. I think that's why so many people are miserable and mean and unhappy. Like you're out here working, grinding every day, but for what? Because you come home and go to sleep and get up and do it again? That's not no fun. You know, it's like, so I work, I grind, whatever, I make my money, and then y'all not gonna see me for 2 weeks because I'm working for this vacation. That's what I'm here for. So what are you working for? And like I understand people have like spouses and houses and kids and legacies and shit. Well, like you building this legacy and you working yourself to the bone. And so when you die at your funeral, they're gonna be like, he worked so hard. That's on your tombstone.
I've heard that. I've heard that. I've read it in obituaries. I've seen, you know, heard it during the funeral, you know, processing and so forth. So yeah, I've definitely heard that.
You are such a hard worker. One of my teammates died at work. And like our boss, they had a delegate to go to the funeral. They sent flowers and then they hired somebody the next week. And I'm like, I'm not going to sit at this job until I die and they go send a $60 bouquet and hire somebody else next week. Like, they don't care about me or my life or my well-being. I'm a cognitive
Yeah.
machine. And so I have to do that because, capitalism. But when I
Yeah.
am not a cognitive machine, I can go and skip and frolic and build sandcastles and play with Barbies and, paint my hair pink
There you go.
and paint my hair pink and do whatever makes me happy because you are trading so much of your life for money just to be able to
Yeah.
live. Like you're trading all
Yeah.
of your time to live because of capitalism. Like it's real dumb. But we in the system, we try and break out, but you can do what you can do. And for me, it's making sure I'm having fun. And I try to make sure other people have fun. I am the activities director for everybody. Like, what y'all doing? Let's play Uno. Come on, y'all. Like, let's get a movie projector and have movie night outside. Like, you
Exactly.
gotta find
Exactly.
ways to entertain yourself. You gotta find ways to be happy. Like, you can't be serious all the time. Boring.
I agree. I agree. And one of the things, I had a discussion, like I said last week, with someone, and the guest had said that we were talking about dancing and how, being able to connect with yourself with dancing. And she had said how it brings this inner joy. And that's really a gift that you give to yourself. And I believe that in play, that's really that gift that we give to ourselves. I believe when we become adults, we start looking for people to make us happy.
Mm-hmm.
And we look for that joy to come from them. And then when they don't do things the way that we want, we're disappointed and we're, angry and, like you said, mean and bitter because we had expectations. Whereas when you're a kid, for the most part, you're just expecting from yourself. So you're playing and you're just expecting whatever you're going to play with, whatever toy, whatever activity you're doing, it's going to make you happy. And then we get older and we lose that sense. So for someone who is older and they feel the weight of the world on them and they feel all kinds of responsibility, what would you suggest to them as far as them being able to connect with that inner child?
I suggest thinking about what you love most as a child and trying to do it as an adult. And if you can't just embrace it, adultify it. So like you like to color, maybe you take a painting class, right? You like to play dress up, maybe you learn to sew. So if you can't just commit to throwing yourself in freely, like baby steps or take what you loved, reconnect with that, and then adultify it. And so that is a way you can start to re-engage your inner child without having like to worry about judgment. Because like play is not judgmental. And for me, it's like a mindfulness practice of being in the moment. Like when you're playing, you're in this moment, you're focused, and you're just having fun. And there are so few times as adults we get to do that, other than like in a meeting where people are looking at you and you're trying real hard not to go to sleep. But like your brain is somewhere else. But when you're playing, you're just focused on what you're doing right now and how you feel about it. And then like this is real dumb. But I struggle with depression. And so sometimes it's like hard to get out of bed.
Well, that's not dumb at all.
And I saw this girl and she was like, my therapist said, flop in the bed like a fish. Just flop like a fish. That's it. You don't have to get up. You don't have to do nothing. Just flop like a fish. And invariably, you start to laugh. And when you start to laugh, you feel better. And you're like, let me get up and go ahead and start my day. And so sometimes just being silly can break you out of like that mindset of like, depression or anxiety. Just giving yourself that moment of joy. You get a little dopamine hit. You get a little endorphins. You feel better, And so I like to twirl. So like, even if you're just in your house by yourself twirling, I mean, it's a nice, free, safe, easy high. You twirl around for a little bit.
That's what I was about to say. I was just about to say, because my children will twirl. And my husband's like, especially like if we're trying to get things together, we're about to eat. And he's like, stop getting high. Because that's getting down. They just spin.
You get a little busy, you get a little head rush, and then you start to giggle. And for me, like giggling is everything. I went to this dance class with my friend, and she's like a semi-professional dancer. And so she was like teaching me the tango, and she was spinning me. And like, I don't even know how she was doing it because she was shorter than me. and small. And I was like, how the fuck are you spinning me like this? And she was just spinning me around the room, and I was giggling. I was laughing so hard that everyone else in the room stopped what they were doing to watch me because I was having the time of my life spinning around the room. And like, just spinning is fun. Something you can do in your living room by yourself, no judgment. Spin around a couple times and see if you don't start laughing.
Well, I want to say a couple things, and I also want you to share the date of your retreat. But before we get to that, I take depression and anxiety as a very serious topic. I spoke previously about having those times when you're in that dark space. That's something that I have. I don't want to like claim ownership of it, but I have struggled with it myself. And I believe almost any one of us who's very creative and we don't fit into society's box, no matter what what you identify with, you have some sense of dealing with depression or anxiety or both. So I like the fact that you did bring it up. I don't see it as something that's dumb at all. In fact, I think that, the suggestion that you gave about, what the person told you about the belly flops, the flop like a fish in your bed was great, because I remember for myself when I would get into those really dark moments, if I was able, because sometimes you're not able to think during those times, you're just so intertwined emotionally and the stress is so heavy that it's harder to really think yourself out of it. So if I'm able to think myself out of it, I'm like, okay, let's put a comedy on. Let's go ahead. Let's put, PlayStation on or Xbox. Let's put some music on. But if I'm too deep in a headspace, it's harder. And I kind of need someone to grab my hand and get me out, spiritually. But otherwise, if I can think myself out of it, then I will. I take what you said and I wrote it down because I'm like, I don't want to say I'm going to have another episode, but sometimes those things kind of creep up on you. It really does. It's like, it's mounting, but then like one thing, boom, and you're like down and it's harder to, get yourself out. So I like that you just said that as far as do flops like a fish. Think of yourself as an animal, move like a cow. Think of yourself outside of who you are right now and what you're doing. And like you said, get a dopamine hit, let those endorphins go up, and then you'll feel yourself feel better. You may not be 100, but you'll feel yourself better. So I like that you said that. And that's really why we need adult play therapy, why it's so essential.
You're preaching to the choir,
man. I do. I like that. Mental health is so important. We've lost too many adults, physically, as far as them, committing suicide, or just, mentally still here in the physical sense, but not being able to connect with them. We have a family member right now that if you go over to the house, they won't even come out of the room. And it's troubling because you wonder, who would you be if you would just allow yourself to come out of that shell? And so when we talk about mental health, I'm really glad that we actually talked about it and brought it up, because there's a lot of people who suffer, and they suffer quietly, they suffer silently. I'll admit, I'm the person that goes silent on social media for a little while and just in life period until I kind of get myself right again. You may not hear from me through text messages because I'm all about energy. So I'm like, no, I don't want to
bring that negative energy to nobody else.
Thank you. So I'm like, if I'm feeling that way, even if I just text hi, in my mind, I feel like I could still be carrying to you that negative energy. So I'm like, let me get myself together in a good mental and positive energy. So whenever I'm talking to you, it can be all in love. And I'm not, and then I could say, hey, I was kind of having a rough patch, but I'm better now.
Yeah.
And it's not so much that I don't want to connect with someone and be honest about it. It's just, like I said, I don't want to share any negative energy, and I kind of want to keep that in my intimate space. If that, what I mean? So like whoever I'm with in an intimate space, I can be like, this is where I'm at, and they may end up knowing. Like my husband will pick up on it. I don't even have to say anything. He'll just pick up on it. So, so that's how I am about that. But mental health is so important. We've lost too many adults, and we're still losing them. And if more people could grasp hold to this concept that it's okay to still play. It's okay. Enjoy yourself. Like you said, don't allow people's judgment of what you're doing disrupt what you want to do. Have fun.
Yep. Because at the end of the day, they're going to go home to their life and they're not going to be thinking about you, and you miss the opportunity because you was worried about them. I'd rather just go play. I'm the silly girl with the pink hair building sandcastles with the children. Okay.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. And I love the factor being that you had said that your mom was like, "What are you doing?" And you were like, "I'm over here having fun. I'm gonna play." And I think sometimes it's not even so much as strangers and how they look at us that bothers me, because we can almost get through that. But it's like when it's your mom or it's, you know, an uncle, an aunt, a cousin, it's like, oh, I want to be presentable to them as an adult. And so you can feel kind of like, I need to stop what I'm doing and be who you want me to be. So then it's like society that has their judgment of you, but the family, when your family judges it does hurt.
Yeah.
It does hurt. It's like, oh, and they're like, I don't know if that's right. That seems like, are you sure you don't need to go get seen? And it's like, no, I just got my dolls out. I'm having fun. I'm dressing them. I'm doing hair. I'm doing scenarios. What's wrong with that? So yeah, you have to allow yourself to be free.
That's what it's all about. Just giving yourself permission to have fun and to enjoy life. And like, just because things have always been a certain way doesn't mean they always have to be a certain way. And just because like your mom and your grandma didn't get to play or do anything and they had to be serious, like that was a different time and they had different struggles, you know, like the hierarchy of needs. When you're still worried about like food and safety and shelter, you don't have time to think about your psyche. But now, where we are now, you have time to think about your psyche and you're worried about your inner world and your mental health. And like, it's hard out here in these streets. And so like, you do something to take care of it because no one else is going to do it. So if that means you like to frolic in the wildflowers, go for it. As long as you're not hurting nobody else, I say do you do. As long as you ain't hurting nobody else, but safe, consensual, whatever. Yeah, as long as you ain't hurting nobody else, do whatever it is that makes you happy, because life is too short. Like, we saw a whole bunch of people just drop dead who I'm sure all thought, I'll do that next year. I'll do that next month. I'm over when I retire, you know, oh, when I get this car, when I. But like, tomorrow's not promised. So like, that's true. When I lose that 20 pounds, or when I get this car paid off, or when I get this house paid off, or oh, when my kids graduate from high school, like, so you keep kicking stuff down the road and then the road ends, you know? And like, it's sad, but I think it was a wake up call for a lot of people, which is why a lot of people are quitting, because I don't want to spend my life sitting in this cubicle. Like, if I'm going out tomorrow, it's going to be on the beach with a drink. So
I agree with you. It's about living life to the maximum to be able to enjoy it. And of course, you know, because we are adults, we do have to, you know, balance things out. In my case, I'm married, I got kids. So I have to be able to balance things out compared to when it was just me. It's a different, you know, a different scenario. But it's still being able to make sure that you still have fun, that you still are allowing yourself to enjoy life. So I fully agree with you. I fully agree. And not putting limits on it.
And that's the
and I will admit, now that's something that is so easy to do, especially for anyone who's a mother out there. It's so easy for us to put limits on ourselves. So easy. You have to like really consciously tell yourself, I can still do that, but it's hard. It's hard to do that sometimes.
A built-in playmate, ma'am. That's the best thing about having kids. Like, reliving your childhood with them and seeing things when they experience them for the first time, and that joy and that wonder. You got a built-in playmate. Play with your kids. Play with your kids. Everything can't be discipline and responsibility and homework. You know, sometimes you just want to make a tutu with your mom. You know? Yeah. But I mean, like, fun doesn't have to be expensive. That's what I'm saying. When you can twirl, you can go outside and run through the grass. Well, not barefoot, because ticks is a problem up here.
Yeah, exactly. Ticks and worms and stuff.
Kick your shoes on, but you can still run through the grass.
You can still run in the grass. You can still run in the grass. You can still run in sprinklers.
I'm not telling nobody
to wash cars. I know we used to wash cars. So yeah, I'm
not telling nobody not to pay their mortgage. Like, I try to go somewhere new every year, because I like save up for that trip all year. That is what I am looking forward to. I need something to look forward to. And so that's what I'm working towards. I'm not telling nobody not to be responsible or pay their bills because, you know, homelessness is a real problem. You know,
No, it is. I'm pretty sure there's some homeless people that if you talk to
be
them.
like,
I've been raising, I used to volunteer at the homeless shelter. They got different stories about how it happened.
Melissa told me, fuck that rent, take a trip. Like, that's not what I said.
Yes.
That's not what I said, ma'am. I said pay your bills and put a little leftover in the jar for, you know, that trip at the end of the year. But
Yeah. We still have to, you know, balance out our
you
responsibility.
still got to pay these bills, but you know, you can still try and have fun while you're doing it.
So do you have any available space open for this retreat, and when is it so people can sign up?
The retreat is,
how can they sign up too?
The retreat is December 1st through the 5th. It's in Grenada. I think we still have 6 spaces open right now.
Spaces.
Yep.
All right. Spaces.
But yeah, I just wanted to create like a safe space for, you know, Black women to come. Like, we carry a lot of weight and everything for everybody all of the time. And I was like, just a place where you can lay your burdens down. Everything is already planned for you. You ain't got to think about nothing. You just show up. And we will feed you the food, and we will play the games, and we will throw the candy at you, and we will taste chocolate and rum and build sandcastles and chase bubbles. But like, just to take a breath, just to make space for yourself to take a breath. Yeah. You know, and like, if you reconnect with your inner child and rediscover your passions and go home with a different outlook on life, okay, that's a bonus. But like, I'm just trying to create a place where Black women can be free. Like, just, I mean, even if it's just for a week or a couple of days or whatever, but like, just take that moment to take a deep breath and let that weight off of you and enjoy yourself, because you take care of everybody else. But like, sometimes you gotta take care of yourself. And
I agree.
You know, so you can find the retreat at onnoor.com/Melissa Starks. And I guess I will drop the link somewhere. Maybe you can drop the link somewhere, because me and IG don't really get along too good.
Yeah, I can definitely. Can you write it? Or I said, can you write it? Can you spell it out for me again? I know it's OMNOIRE.
OMNOIRE.
Yes. I always get so excited whenever I spell these things right. Okay. And it's .org? .com.
/Melissa Starks.
I love Starks. I really, really do. I'm gonna tell you how I remember the name, because of Tony Starks. I'm an MCU.
I always get that. Either I get Tony Starks, or I get like, some people will just whisper, "Winter is coming." They see like at the bank sometimes the teller just be like, "Winter is coming," and I'll be like, "Okay, calm down." Before that, I used to get like the Tony Stark, or who that played for like some basketball player was a Stark. But yeah, I definitely always get some sort of pop culture reference.
That's how I remember it. I do. I love Tony Starks. I'm an Art Man fan. I will admit it. So yeah, when I saw your email, I was like, Tony Starks. I associate. That's how I remember stuff. I was like, Tony Starks. Yes.
I'll take it. Billionaire, playboy, philanthropist. I will take it. Be like, Tony, let me get somebody.
Well, you know, after Tony Starks, passed away, actually it's supposed to be a female, Black female, Iron Woman.
Ironheart is coming. Ironheart is coming for all of y'all. Snack edges. The smartest girl in the whole world.
I can't even go to, if I get on the MCU, I'll be on it. So but that's part of play therapy.
Comic books are the best. And then like they have adult comic books, and like, oh my god, Deadpool is ridiculous, and like the graphic novels are crazy, and it's so like not for children. He be cussing and killing folks and all kind of stuff.
Some of the comic books back in the day weren't really for kids, because I used to get comic books. I was huge on collecting comic books. I was like 9, 10, 11, just growing up, and there was some stuff in there My mom was like, why do you keep getting comic books? And I would, some of the stuff I didn't even read. It was just the pictures. I was like, oh, I mean, it was some salacious stuff in there. I think one was like X Mutants, and I thought it was going to be X Men.
Mm-hmm.
It was not. I was like, oh, I read that one a few times, I'll admit. Or I should say I looked at those pictures a few times. I was like, what? So
discovering things in books, that's an education is what that is.
So it's some stuff in there. But it's all part of adult play therapy. If you're wanting to get comic books again and you're like, I don't know, people are going to look at me strange, it doesn't matter. Go ahead and get it, because there's stuff, like you said, that's in the adult genre that's not even for kids. So you don't have to get, Scooby-Doo or Archie, not unless you want to. But if you want to get Scooby-Doo or Archie, go with it. If you don't, and you want something that's a little bit more of adult content, go with it.
I do think we live in this age of nostalgia where now, like, it's fine to do that. Like, when you go to the comic books, it's all adults in there. Like, if you see a child, you be like, why are you in here? But, like, there are bars where you can go and play games. There's bars you can go and build puzzles. Like, I think we're at this point of nostalgia now where, like, it's okay to be an adult who plays. And, like, people are kind of embracing it a little bit more. It's gone, like, mainstream. So I do think people are embracing the idea more of, like, life should be fun. Like, it can't be all work and no play, because you're just going to get burnt out. Take it from somebody who got burnt out. Like, you can keep plowing through and white knuckling it and, full steam ahead, and I got to work hard and do better. And then you hit a wall because you're not built for that. Like, you got to rest. You got to sleep. You got to enjoy yourself. You got to have fun. And so, like, you don't want to wait till you get to the point of burnout before you try and take a moment for yourself and take a deep breath and, like, appreciate where you are at this moment and look around at the beauty of the world. And, like, you don't want to wait till you hit the wall before you take a moment for yourself.
That is so very, very true. Self-maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Self-maintenance is so important. Just like a car, if you wait and wait and wait to actually, check that check engine light, it could be your vehicle could be done. Or it could be so much work that needs to be done. And I've been there. I know we've been there. and it's expensive. It's extremely expensive compared to if you just do regular maintenance. You stay consistent with it, and you have a better situation. It's actually less money in the end, in the beginning and in the end. Mm-hmm. So I fully agree with you, and I believe one of the things that has come from our pandemic, even unfortunately with the shootings that's been happening randomly, even in the midst of with the war, what's going on with our government, I believe people are giving more of a focus to, like you said, that tomorrow is not promised, and that they want to be able to connect with themselves. Even when it comes to the Barbies in our doll community, I joined in 2020, which was like right during the time of the pandemic, and that had to do with my kids. Actually, my girls wanted to get more into doing dolls, and we have someone that's a very popular doll person on YouTube, and they were like, I want to do the crafts that they're doing. And so that's how we got into it. I was like, okay, let's go ahead and do it. And I believe that pandemic actually created a surge of us, because I've heard other people say, you know what, we have a lot more people in our community compared to years prior. And the pandemic just really made people say, what's my interest? What's my hobby? I don't know how much longer I have. Let me enjoy myself. Mm-hmm. So I fully agree with you. There's a lot more things that's geared towards adults being able to play and enjoy themselves. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. Do you have any last things that you want to say? Anyone have any comments or questions? You can post it during this time. But what would be something that you would want to say?
What would I want to say? Like, nurture inner child. Just because you grow up doesn't mean you have to get old. And why be serious when you can be silly? Like, life is hard enough for everybody. And, like, you never know what other people are going through. And, like, I'm the person at the store with the face mask with, like, lipstick and fangs. And then people are like, oh, my God, I love your mask. And, like, I do that because for that one moment, that person smiled. And, like, just that one moment of, like, levity or laughter or whatever, like, that can save somebody's life. Like, when you are in a place of darkness, having a moment of laughter is, like, life-changing. And so just don't take yourself too serious. Life is hard enough. You might as well try and have some kind of fun.
I agree with you. And I guess one last question: what would, because you're saying, about just allowing yourself to have fun and being able to smile and laugh. What should people expect when they come to your retreat?
They should expect to be goofy. The mission is goofy. The clothes. I'm definitely thinking of like an 80s themed movie night. I want to see leg warmers. I want to see rainbow. I want to see neon. I'm thinking googly eye scavenger hunt. I'm gonna get my 5,000 googly eyes and go to town on that resort.
I love it.
I'm bringing the candy. Be throwing pads at people like the Super Balls. we out here, with our disposable income, having a good ass time, and let people look at us and be jealous at how good of a time we're having, because it's so rare that you get to find like other people who are like on your wavelength, who want to do what you want to do, who like want to come and have fun and chill out and do stuff. And like, that's what we doing. We getting a bunch of ladies together who need a goddamn break and who want to, come and play. Be going to play, y'all. Going to play.
There you go. Are you guys is there gonna be any journaling, any self-work?
There is gonna be journaling, because I do think it's important to connect with your inner child and to kind of listen to those feelings that come up, and maybe the things that you didn't have or that you still need that you can give to yourself. And I do think that journaling is an important part of that, and like mindfulness and meditation. So it is like a wellness retreat. So there are like workshops and stuff, but the workshops are still going to be playful. Like, we're making a tutu, but like, what was the clothes your mom wouldn't let you wear? Or what was the hairstyle you couldn't have? Or like, how do you think you can reincorporate that into your life? Or like, who did you want to be when you were a kid? Like before the world told you you couldn't. Like, what were your dreams? Like, what was your joy? Because you can recapture that and you can change your life and you can reformulate your life towards greater joy, And I think when you connect with your inner child, you open yourself up to who you were going to be before the world started beating you down. And if you can find her and nurture her, she will show you the path to happiness.
Yes. And I love that you said reformulate, because that's literally the name of your IG handle. Where did you get that title from, or that name?
It's also something silly that happened. The Different World episode where Whitley's like, relax, relate, release. And so like when I start planning this retreat,
I love that. I love that show. I do. I still watch it, but yeah.
So when I start planning this retreat, I was like, relax, relate, release. And then every single time I Google something, it was taken. Everything was taken. And then I was looking for like recess was taken and all the derivations of play were taken. And so I was like kind of writing stuff down, and I was like, it was a lot of R words, and then R&R was taken. And so it was like 4 R words. And I was like, reformulate. And my initial is M. So it was reform. So it was reform. That's how it started. I told you it's ridiculous. And then I was just like,
oh, no, not at all.
Like, yeah, we out here, we rethinking things, we're doing things different, we're reformulating our lives. Like, just because you are somewhere doesn't mean you have to stay there. Just because you have been doing something doesn't mean you have to keep doing that. And you can go back to the drawing board and reimagine your life and work towards that goal, And so relax, relate, release, reimagine, reinvigorate your passions, reformulate.
I love that. I love that so much. I believe sometimes, and this is like our last little portion, but I believe so many times as adults, we get stuck with what we've been doing. And so you feel like I have to keep doing it. And it's like, no, you can stop. You can recreate. You can go ahead and just allow yourself to be reinvented. And so I like that you said reformulate. When I saw your name pop up, like I said in my DMs, I was like, reformulate. And I love that particular handle. That's a beautiful name. And it's very, very deep. It has a lot of meaning to it. Beyond just being able to be about adult play therapy, anything in your life, you can be able to reformulate. You don't have to stay stuck. You don't have to stay where you're at. You don't have to continue to be who you are. I graduated in school with a degree for psychology and communications, went to grad school for counseling, and now I have my certification as a yoga instructor. And so, I mean, like, yeah, you could, put some bits and pieces together and be like, okay, this all fits together, but it doesn't. It's just that, I wanted to be able to do something that I enjoy. I wanted to do something that was in connection with my husband and I, so we can work together, because he's a fitness instructor, he's a personal instructor and nutritionist, and so I wanted us to be able to work together. And I was already teaching dance before we met, and I was already doing exercise, and so, it was something I already enjoyed. It was a passion.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that I didn't enjoy counseling. I do. I love it. But you can reformulate your life. You can come back to the drawing board, like you said, and really see, what is it that I want to do in this space and time right now? If it's not working for me, what can I do that's different? So I like that.
I'm really glad that you get it, because I was worried people with it. Because I can be a little bit too cerebral, and I'll be out there by myself sometimes. But it's crazy that they ask you to make decisions about your whole life when you're 18. Your brain isn't even fully formed. And then you get stuck in this path, and you're like, well, this is my major, and this is my job, and then I'm going to get my master's, and this is what I'm going to do. And then, like, you're 35, and you're like, I don't want to do none of this shit. And you're just trapped. And, like, you don't have to stay trapped. You can rethink about what it is you want for your life, and you can change courses. It's not too late. It's never too late to learn, do something new, and be happy. And so, like, I just think if you don't like your life, take a moment, figure out what it is that you want, and, like, just reinvigorate yourself and go for the life that you want. And, like, that's what I'm doing. I don't want to be a lawyer anymore. And I want to, like, talk to people and build retreats and help people find their inner child and have fun. Like, I went to law school, someone to help people. And, like, I worked for a hedge fund. Like, that wasn't what I wanted to do. And I'm like, how can I, like, help people? And so that's, this is where I am right now. And if I can, like, make somebody laugh or make somebody happy or give somebody a break, or, like, that's enough, like, redefining what success looks like. Like,
yes,
like, that's what means success.
You said a big one right there. Redefining what success looks like.
Yep. Like, I don't need designer handbags or a Mercedes or whatever the kids are driving these days. I don't even know. But, like, if I can make somebody's day, like, that brings me joy,
But you have so many different people. I know I'm about to close out, but real quick, you have so many different people, because you tapped on something that have the designer purses and the red bottom shoes and the nice cars and those doors, that open this way and so forth. And they're not happy. I'm not saying all of them, because some of them are very, very happy. So I'm not going to say all of them, but you do have enough people where they have the possessions and they have the nice amount in their bank account, and they're not happy because they feel like they have to stay a certain, they have to have a certain persona.
And you have to maintain that.
They're not able to connect with that inner child. We see so many different celebrities. They're being stalked by paparazzi, and there's other people that want to emulate them because of what they have, and I want to be able to be as successful as them. But if you really did sit down with some of them when they don't have the paparazzi with them, they're kind of sad, and they're wanting to know, how can I be able to be, have that fulfilled feeling, because the designer handbag's not doing it, and going to, this shopping center's not doing it, and eating this, $1,000 plate isn't doing it, popping this $10,000, champagne isn't doing it. So what is it that I can do to be happy? But I got paparazzi following me everywhere. So if I play in the sand, they're going to say something's wrong with me. They're going to say I'm either on drugs, or that I need to go to an institution, or this and that. So I have to have this persona that then builds to my followers that this is how you be an adult. And I believe that creates this domino effect of people who leave their childhood, just out in the dust, and they never do connect with him or her again. And that's what we're wanting to really, grab hold to, with the book, with this channel, with your vacations, with your playcations. I love that name. With your playcations, being able to get people to know it's not about trying to follow the trends, because a lot of people who are starting the trends, who are celebrities and so forth, some of them are just as miserable, but they have too many cameras on them for them to be able to be who they are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, everybody is struggling with something. Some people are just better at hiding it than others. That's all.
Yeah.
Life is too hard for everything to be easy. Even if you have all the money in the world, you still have problems. And
Yeah.
some people are just better at hiding it and putting on that mask and going into public and being perfect. And I just choose to be honest and be my authentic self. And that's the goofy girl who wants to chase bubbles, and that's okay too,
There you
you
go.
know. And like, I'm not gonna say money can't buy happiness, because I think I can buy some happiness with some money. Not gonna say that, but only
It's
money
true. It's
doesn't
true.
buy
I mean,
happiness.
honestly.
I mean, we live in a capitalist society, so I mean, clearly, but like, only money doesn't buy happiness. You can get happiness other ways that don't require money, that just require you to like shift your perspective a little bit, or like
Yeah.
reevaluate your life and figure out what you enjoy to do that is fun. And you could probably go find a meetup group to do it for free. Like, you know.
If you can figure out how to take, and this is not a sponsorship, but if you can figure out how to take Dawn soap and make it into bubbles and blow with it and be able to enjoy it when you've got $10 in the bank, then that means whenever that stuff gets tripled or so forth and you've got a nice, let's say billions in the bank, you'll know what to do even more so, because you knew how to value it when you didn't have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I'm at with it. How do you allow yourself to be content, and not content where you're like, okay, I'm done. I know I don't really have a lot of money, but I'm just going to be okay
Not
with it.
complacent.
Don't settle. Yeah, don't
Not
settle. But how do you still
content? You can still be happy with who you are in the moment. You can enjoy your life where you are, and you can still strive to do better. But you can,
Thank you.
you know, but you don't have to be unhappy. It doesn't have to be a struggle. Like, you can be working towards a goal of making yourself happy. Like, that's my goal. What do you want in life? I want to be happy. I don't need $1 million to do that. You know, I just want to be happy. And like, at the end of the day, when you die, you can't take your cars and your house and your money with you. You're just gonna leave a bunch of kids to fight over shit. Like, okay, like,
but then when you get that $1 million, because you learned how to be content with just like blowing the bubbles with the Dawn soap, and now you got the more money, and you're like, okay, I can go ahead and get bigger bubbles. That's like, the actual brand name. But now I don't just buy the bubbles for myself. I buy bubbles for other people. And that's what I love about your PLAY-CATION, is that you're saying, hey, it's not just about me finding my inner child and being able to connect with her and just nurturing her and having this collab time. It's about me being able to also help you connect with your inner child. So I love that you're doing that, because at the end of the day, like you said, it's really about allowing people to experience life and experience happiness. And that's what we're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. And that's my goal.
Well, you're doing it, sis. You're doing it. And I am going to put all of your information in the comments, or I should say in the caption. I'll put the link. I don't know if I can do the www part. I heard something on Instagram where they're like, oh, they're not going to let you do the link, but I will definitely put down the rest of the link, as well as that you have 6 spots that are available for Granada, and that this is going to be a PLAY-CATION retreat for women to be able to connect with their inner child. You're doing an awesome thing. I thank you for connecting with me, and I'm looking forward to us being able to do some things. Like I said, I'm definitely for it, especially virtually. And then once when I get the chaperone situation together, I want my kids to be able to come too, so they can experience it. So I know this was just for the women, so this wouldn't have been able to happen. But yes, next time you have something, I want to be able to join. So we're going to stay connected.
I just want to say thank you for responding to me and being so like welcoming and being like, hey, come on my show. Like, I am not a person who like reaches out or asks for help or anything, but I don't know. I was just like, I'm going to try and see what happens. And I have been saying like, I need people. I need people. And I've been trying to be more of like finding the people that I need. And you were there at the right time, and you were just been so open and welcoming. And I just thank you for just being a generous spirit.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I do. Like I said, we're going to stay connected. I'm going to be sending positive energy for your event, for the retreat, and whatever I could do from from my spot where I'm at, let me know and I will do. But I'm going to put all the information in the caption, and really hoping that women are able to connect with their inner child, because more women that we have that are connected with their inner child and having positivity, I'm telling you, our community can grow. Our global community can really grow in positive ways. There's too many people that are damaged due to, and I'm not blaming women, but you know, we birthed the children. And sometimes if we're bitter and we're angry and we're upset and we didn't get a chance to experience life, we can pass that on to our kids. You know, either we're wanting them to do what we didn't, so we're living vicariously through them, or we're just angry. We're angry because, you know, you came at a time when I thought I was going to be doing this and this and that. And those kids carry that weight. So I'm really thankful for what you're doing, because like I said, the more women that we have that are healed, the better it is for our global community. So keep doing it, sis. You're doing something awesome and we need it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. You have an awesome evening. Thank you again. You guys have any questions, go to @Reformulate Retreat. This is Melissa Starks. She has something awesome and amazing. And I know she's going to have a lot more retreats, so I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.